Hi, I'm Lincoln. Sometimes I write stuff. I've published a novel and a novel length collection of short work. I've edited a couple of anthologies, including this one, which is especially relevant because it's a collection of dark superhero type material. If you have a chance to pick up a copy of Corrupts Absolutely somewhere, I would highly recommend it. If you're a fan of IDW's Robots vs. Zombies, you may have read a cool little time travel piece that I contributed to their This Is War anthology a few years back. I'm also an active duty soldier. I'll hit 21 years' time in service this year, and by this time next year, I will have been a civilian for 4 months. The comic I'm asking you to fund is kind of an early retirement project. If you recall seeing a viral video of a drill sergeant a couple years ago marching his troops to Baby Shark, that's me. I'm currently living in Germany, and by sheer happenstance, I found an artist on Reddit who lives in Romania, and we are making this book together. That's a happy coincidence in my mind. I grew up in the 80s, reading a lot of mainstream fantasy and sci fi paperbacks. Two of my favorite authors were Terry Brooks and Piers Anthony, and their work has a little bit of an influence on the comic I'm pitching to you today. You might know Terry Brooks for Shannara, and I did enjoy the Shannara books, but what really enraptured me when I was like 10 years old was his Landover series. Basically, there's a lawyer who's about the age that I am now who buys a Magic Kingdom out of a Sears catalog and totally reinvents his life. And these days I can kind of relate. Around the same time, I was completely enraptured as well with Piers Anthony's Incarnations of Immortality. I did also read Xanth. Xanth was cool. Incarnations is better. Basically, death, time, war, fate, nature, evil, and good are offices that can be held by mortal people and they change hands, and there's a storyline woven throughout. I also grew up around a fair amount of bikers, or at least biker adjacent people. Some of these are the people who turned me onto my reading material. So when Sons of Anarchy came out, I didn't watch it right away, but a bunch of my friends were singing its praises over the course of a couple seasons, and I'm like, hell yeah, I gotta check this out. And I was not disappointed. The only time I was disappointed was when the show ended. But at least they went out on top. Some shows can't really say that all the time. Besides the fantasy novels and the bikers, other influences on this work from my childhood. This is really a love letter to different aspects of things I've been into for like 30 freaking years. I used to read the hell out of some comic books. Mostly X-Men, definitely like 90s stuff. As you can see, I've been buying up things that I couldn't afford when I was a kid. Now that I've got grown up money, you know? But read the hell out of some X Men, read a lot of Fantastic Four, read a lot of Spider Man. I love the MCU. My son has some of my old comics. I've got another like 2,000 comic books upstairs, all from like the 80s until the early, like mid 1990s. And I've also been collecting like the new Jonathan Hickman run. So definitely, while I've got this fundraiser up, feel free to rap with me about that. Um, of course, because of this, my post military creative plans are going to have something to do with writing and comic books. So when I've explained some of my influences, and I hope it makes sense when I tell you my comic, the short elevator pitch for it is it's Sons of Anarchy meets Incarnations of Immortality. All these guys are bikers, and they're empowered by a wizard and sent on a quest. It's also a little bit like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse from the Bible's Book of Revelation, except my Iron Horsemen become some symbols of what might be contributing to society's downfall from some sort of modern perspective. I chose guns, sex, lies, and money, and that's going to be the name of the first arc. 6 issues introducing the characters and their world, sending them off on a quest, and hopefully giving you all an appetite for the next several years of what I have planned out. There's going to be monthly digital releases, and then after the 6 issue arc comes out, I'm going to put out a print and digital trade paperback for my bookshelf folks. I get it. I love holding these things in my hands, but I want to keep the price point low to make it easier for people to take a chance on an unknown. Um, I don't expect to quit working my day job off of this comic book or anything crazy like that, but as long as I can keep recouping my out of pocket expenses, paying my artists basically, and maybe putting a little bit of profit away for expansion, I feel like I can sustain this project for a long time. I've got several story arcs planned out, and of course, I'll be thinking up more if this thing takes off. So, I have some samples from the book on my fundraiser page. I'll probably throw up some more as the weeks progress. I'm running the fundraiser until the end of December, so keep me in mind for the fantasy, biker, and comic book fans on your holiday list. Feel free to drop me a line with any questions you might have, and please share the link and share the video on your social media accounts, hopefully more than once. Thanks for watching, and thank you in advance for your support.